But when I say that, I don't mean that guns should be out. What I mean is that local governments should be able to make their own gun laws. That's what I believe.
Do you think that there are certain circumstances where people should be allowed to have an assault rifle or a 30-round clip or something like that in their house? I can't say that it really does have a purpose. You can't really think off the top of your head of a useful purpose for some guy with a 9mm with a 50-round clip hidden under his bed.
See, here's the deal. Do I think, and when we say that, do I think a person should be able to have that? In Canada, absolutely. Absolutely. But Canada is not overrun by gun violence. Do you know what I'm saying? America is. So it's just silly to say, okay, one of the biggest problems we have, this epidemic in the United States, gun violence, exists. Yet at the same time, it's important for us to defend to the death somebody's right to have an assault rifle when there is simply no good argument for why they should have an assault rifle, right? So you have to balance the pros and the cons. Ultimately, it would be great if we would allow somebody to have an assault rifle. And, theoretically, that would be great if we lived in a society in which somebody could have that. Theoretically, it would be even better if we lived in a world where such things don't exist, all right? But we live in the actual world in which our country struggles with violence. We're a violent country, we're a violent people, we have a violent history, we have a violent government. Every single run of our social, economic, and political ladder is overrun by violence. So why are we spending so much time, effort, and money defending people's rights to have guns like that in their home for absolutely no good reason?
How do we make our country less violent? Should we start the government and have less wars? Or restrict the entertainment industry?
Or the media? I mean, there's a lot of people are forcing the argument that
We can't change. We can't.
because the news is so violent, because the government puts out the stories that hit the news are the ones like, oh, this is how many people we killed in the Middle East today, or this person bombed this person, or this guy got robbed today.
Well, we can't start dictating to the media what they can or can't. What they are, that's so many things are just a reflection of society. You know, that's what society's drawn to. That's what our society's drawn to. I think one of the things we could, that would have to be a grassroots campaign. You know, to make America less violent would have to be a grassroots campaign. I think it's clear over the last 20 years, violence in our country has been decreasing. The violence rates, the murder rates, the crime rates, these have all steadily decreased. Most major cities, I believe, have a murder rate of far less than half what they had in the late 80s, early 90s, which is good, which is a good start. But I think ultimately, I mean, just look at our budget. You know, just look at our federal government budget, right? At a time now in which we are facing almost unprecedented financial problems, what we are seeing from school district to school district, from state to state, and in the federal government, they're slashing money towards education. Nobody yet, not one single politician, has seriously made the suggestion that we cut one dime from military spending. Now, what does that tell you about it? You know, we cut education before we cut military spending. Why? Because we value violence more than we value education. So, my first recommendation would be spend more money on education, less money